The Cretaceous period was an era of rapid evolution for dinosaurs. Across the globe, these ancient creatures developed into remarkable forms, each species fighting for dominance in the relentless struggle for survival. This period was home to some of the most fearsome herbivores and terrifying predators that ever walked the earth. Imagine the towering Argentinosaurus reaching the height of a 7-story building, or the fearsome Carcharodontosaurus, whose name alone doesn't fully capture how menacing it truly was. And then, there's the heavily armored Ankylosaurus. Equipped with a club-shaped tail, these creatures didn't yield a single inch, constantly competing for their place in a world where only the strongest survived. But this great age of dinosaurs came to a sudden and catastrophic end, with a world-shaking event that led to the extinction of most dinosaur species and forever altered life on Earth. The Jurassic period gave way to the Cretaceous, the final chapter of the Mesozoic era, lasting from about 145 to 65 million years ago. During this time, an incredible diversity of dinosaurs evolved, including some of the largest and most iconic creatures. As the Cretaceous progressed, new groups like the Ceratopsians and Theropods gained prominence. The period is divided into two parts, the early and late Cretaceous. In the early Cretaceous, from 145 to 100 million years ago, dinosaurs diversified even further, with new groups such as the ornithopods and sauropods emerging. This was also the time when the first birds evolved from small feathered theropods. By the late Cretaceous, from 100 to 65 million years ago, the Earth saw even more dramatic changes. One of the most significant events was the tectonic breakup of the supercontinent Pangea into separate landmasses, Laurasia and Gondwana. Eventually forming the modern continents. This separation created isolated ecosystems on each landmass, leading to the evolution of unique dinosaur species. The late Cretaceous also witnessed the rise of flowering plants, which had a major impact on ecosystems, changing the way dinosaurs interacted with their environment. As sea levels rose, flooding low-lying areas, new marine ecosystems developed, making the oceans a rich and varied source of life. As the continents drifted apart, the once unified dinosaur populations became isolated, leading to the development of unique species on each landmass. By the time this era ended, Earth was ruled by giants, each with their own strengths and weaknesses. In North America, a fierce battle was set to unfold between the mightiest predators and the most stubborn herbivores. At the top of the food chain was the fearsome Tyrannosaurus rex, roaming the land in search of prey. One of the largest land predators to ever exist, T-Rex stretched up to 39 feet in length and weighed around 7 tons. Its massive jaws, armed with 6-inch razor-sharp teeth, made it a formidable force. The discovery of T-Rex fossils in the late 19th century was a turning point in paleontology, with the first complete specimen displayed at the American Museum of Natural History in New York. With a bite force exceeding 12,800 pounds, T-Rex was one of the strongest biters in recorded history. It's also believed that T-Rex was fast, capable of reaching speeds of up to 20 miles per hour, making it a deadly hunter. In contrast, Triceratops, a large herbivore, stood its ground as one of the few creatures capable of standing up to the mighty T-Rex. Reaching up to 29 feet in length and weighing 12 tons, Triceratops had a massive skull and 3 horns, making it a powerful adversary. The fight for survival during the Cretaceous was a brutal, relentless struggle. But ultimately, this extraordinary era of life on Earth would come to an end in one of the most devastating mass extinctions our planet has ever known. The age of dinosaurs would vanish, making way for the rise of mammals and, eventually, humans. What might have happened if that extinction event never occurred? Would humans have still become the dominant species? Or would dinosaurs still roam the Earth today? The fossilized skulls of Triceratops have been found with scratches and dents, indicating fierce confrontations with rivals, predators, and even fellow Triceratops over territory or mates. One such specimen even had broken horns and teeth marks that matched the bite of a Tyrannosaurus rex. However, fossil evidence reveals that this particular Triceratops died of natural causes, highlighting the resilience of this species, armed with 3 formidable horns and a protective frill. These features made Triceratops a formidable opponent for any predator. Meanwhile, across what is now the United States and Canada, a heavily armored Ankylosaurus roamed. Reaching up to 29 feet in length and weighing about 7 tons, Ankylosaurus is known for its remarkable armor, composed of thick bone plates, and its club-like tail. This tail, formed by fused bone, created a solid mass weighing several hundred pounds, used to deliver devastating blows that could break the bones of any predator daring enough to attack. This unique adaptation, along with its armor, allowed Ankylosaurus to survive in an environment filled with constant threats. Another fascinating North American resident was Pachycephalosaurus. In 1943, paleontologist Barnum Brown made a groundbreaking discovery of a skull in Montana's Hell Creek Formation. This dinosaur reached about 15 feet in length and weighed around 990 pounds. Its Latin name, meaning thick-headed lizard, refers to its distinctive dome-shaped skull, which could be up to 6 inches thick. This skull was likely used for headbutting, either in courtship displays or to settle territorial disputes. Despite its aggressive behavior, Pachycephalosaurus was a peaceful creature, spending most of its time grazing and avoiding conflict. Now, let's fast forward to Laurasia, the second fragment of the once unified supercontinent Pangea. In the dense forests of the early Cretaceous, a small, feathered dinosaur named Archaeopteryx soared through the treetops. About the size of a crow, it was one of the first birds, evolved from small, feathered theropods, spending its days hunting insects and small reptiles. The discovery of Archaeopteryx began in the late 1850s, when a German farmer named Jacob Niemeyer stumbled upon a fossilized feather in Bavaria's Solnhofen limestone. Over the following decades, more complete specimens were uncovered, providing the first clear evidence of the evolutionary link between birds and dinosaurs. This unique blend of avian and reptilian features, such as feathers and wishbones, challenged the conventional view that birds were a completely distinct group. Meanwhile, across the forest, a thrilling chase was unfolding. Leptoceratops, a small, agile ceratopsian dinosaur, was fleeing from a predator. Leptoceratops, with its compact and nimble frame, moved swiftly on all fours. Its name, derived from Greek, means slender horned face. It had a sharp beak, a small frill at the back of its head, and a short horn on its nose. Measuring about 6.5 feet long and weighing around 330 pounds, it was relatively small for a herbivore, and thus an easy target for predators. One such predator was the swift Saurornithoids. Saurornithoids was a carnivorous dinosaur, capable of reaching lengths of up to 10 feet and standing 6.5 feet tall. It had a long, narrow skull and a vertically compressed snout, along with a relatively large brain and sharp teeth. Its second toe on each foot sported a fearsome sickle-shaped claw that could grasp prey and likely tear it apart. With such deadly tools, its victims stood little chance. Heading further east in our journey through the ancient world, we encounter a variety of majestic creatures, many of which called the vast lands of Asia home. From towering herbivores to terrifying predators, these colossal monsters boasted numerous adaptations that allowed them to thrive in their environments. One of the fiercest predators to have ever roamed the Asian continent during the Cretaceous period was Tarbosaurus. This gigantic theropod dinosaur belonged to the Tyrannosauridae family, which also includes the famous Tyrannosaurus rex and Albertosaurus. Tarbosaurus walked on two legs and was among the largest carnivores of its time. Scientists estimate that an adult Tarbosaurus could grow up to 40 feet long and weigh as much as 6 tons. Its massive skull housed powerful jaws filled with long, sharp teeth, backed by strong neck muscles. These physical features made it one of the most formidable predators of its era, capable of taking down large prey. First described by paleontologist Rincon Barsbold in 1955, Tarbosaurus was given the species name Tarbosaurus batar. It lived in what is now Mongolia, where several well-preserved fossils have been found. Some paleontologists once thought Tarbosaurus might be an Asian variant of Tyrannosaurus rex, but modern studies suggest they were separate species. While they shared many similarities, Tarbosaurus had distinct traits, such as longer arms and a slimmer, less robust skull than its North American counterpart. While an adult Tarbosaurus could handle prey of all sizes, younger ones likely hunted smaller animals like Psittacosaurus, a small, herbivorous ceratopsian dinosaur. Psittacosaurus was only about 6.5 feet long and weighed around 44 pounds. Its name, which translates to parrot lizard, comes from its beak-like snout, resembling that of a parrot. Despite its small size, Psittacosaurus was an agile dinosaur, capable of moving quickly on all fours to escape predators like Tarbosaurus. Another predator that roamed Asia was the intelligent and deadly Velociraptor. Unlike the solitary Tarbosaurus, Velociraptors lived in packs, using their sharp claws and hunting strategies to become formidable foes. Discovered in the Gobi Desert in the early 20th century, Velociraptor fossils revealed their distinctive sickle-shaped claws, which were likely used to grasp and disembowel prey. Velociraptors were relatively small, about 6.5 feet long and weighing around 33 pounds. They also had a large brain for their body size, indicating a high level of intelligence. It's believed that they could communicate and coordinate their attacks, making them even more dangerous as pack hunters. One famous fossil discovery, known as the Fighting Dinosaurs, depicts a velociraptor locked in combat with a Protoceratops, forever frozen in time. This fossil provides invaluable insight into the behavior and ecosystem of the Cretaceous period. Next, our journey takes us to modern Africa. Where Spinosaurus, one of the largest carnivorous dinosaurs of all time, dominated the waterways. Spinosaurus was longer than both Tyrannosaurus rex and Giganotosaurus, reaching lengths of up to 60 feet and weighing up to 20 tons. Its most distinctive feature was the large sail-like structure on its back, formed by elongated neural spines. While the function of this sail is still debated, it may have been used for thermoregulation, display, or intimidation. Spinosaurus had a semi-aquatic lifestyle, with webbed feet that allowed it to swim and hunt underwater. Its long, narrow jaws filled with sharp teeth were perfect for catching slippery prey, like fish and amphibians. Its powerful forelimbs, armed with long, sharp claws, helped it hold and kill its prey before swallowing it whole. This glimpse into the diverse and terrifying world of the Cretaceous period shows just how varied and adaptable these ancient creatures were, each ruling their respective environments with their own unique strengths. On another shore, a group of Iguanodon grazes on the lush vegetation along the riverbanks. These large herbivorous dinosaurs could move on all fours, but possibly stood on two legs when necessary. Iguanodons were about 32 feet long, or roughly 10 meters, and weighed around 4 tons. Their narrow, large heads, equipped with a beak-like structure made of keratin at the front of their jaws, house teeth similar to those of modern iguanas, but larger and more numerous. One of the most iconic features of the Iguanodon was the spike on its thumb. It is believed that they used this spike to deliver powerful blows to predators. Speaking of predators, a fearsome giant stalked the same region, the Carcharodontosaurus. This massive carnivorous dinosaur was one of the largest of its time and probably one of the top predators in the Cretaceous period in Africa. Just its head alone measured 63 inches. Estimates suggest that Carcharodontosaurus could reach lengths of up to 39 feet, with a weight ranging from 6 to 15 tons. It walked on two legs, using its heavy tail for balance, and was an incredibly fearsome hunter. Its serrated teeth, up to 8 inches long, gave it the nickname Great White Shark Lizard, reminiscent of the teeth of the infamous Carcharodon, the great white shark. Few prey could stand against the might of a fully grown Carcharodontosaurus, capable of hunting even Spinosaurus and Iguanodon. Now, let's turn our attention to the real giants. The Hinkle Formation in South America became famous for the discovery of some truly colossal dinosaurs. Topping the list is Giganotosaurus, one of the largest meat-eating dinosaurs ever discovered. In fact, some estimates suggest it may have been even larger than the renowned Tyrannosaurus rex. However, Giganotosaurus was a slow grower, taking between 20 to 25 years to reach full size, a much longer period compared to T-Rex. An adult Giganotosaurus measured about 43 feet long and weighed up to 11 tons. Fossils found in Argentina have made it one of the most well-known carnivorous dinosaurs in South America. These discoveries highlight the rich and diverse fauna that thrived on the Gondwana continent during the Cretaceous period. Research into Giganotosaurus behavior suggests that it may have lived in packs, much like other theropods, indicating it was a social predator that hunted in groups. But Giganotosaurus wasn't the only predator in this tropical landscape. It had to compete fiercely for territory and resources with other carnivores, such as Mapusaurus. Closely related to Giganotosaurus, Mapusaurus shared similar size, shape, and hunting habits. Both were large carnivores that roamed South America in the late Cretaceous, and they had remarkably similar skull and jaw structures. Mapusaurus was about 36 feet long and weighed up to 5 tons. Its first remains were discovered in Argentina in the year 2000, and multiple specimens were found together, a rare occurrence in dinosaur fossils. This discovery suggests that Mapusaurus was also a social animal, working together in groups to hunt large prey, much like modern wolves or lions. Understanding this unique behavior has shed new light on theropod social dynamics. Lastly, when we think of giants from Argentina, we can't forget Argentinosaurus. The largest dinosaur of the Cretaceous period, and indeed one of the largest dinosaurs to ever walk the Earth. Estimates suggest that Argentinosaurus could reach lengths of up to 115 feet, with a total weight of around 100 tons. As a sauropod, Argentinosaurus was herbivorous, feeding on a variety of vegetation, including conifers and ferns. Its long neck and small head were perfectly adapted for reaching the highest branches, allowing it to feast on the tallest trees. As a large sauropod, Argentinosaurus was slow-moving, but its enormous size made it difficult for most predators to attack. This species had a unique skeletal structure, including broad hips and short femurs, which allowed it to support its immense weight. Growth rings found in its bones indicate that Argentinosaurus had a long lifespan, possibly living over 100 years, significantly longer than most other dinosaurs, which typically lived between 20 and 50 years. Over millions of years during the Cretaceous period, Australia gradually drifted away from Gondwana and moved northward. This continental drift eventually led to Australia's collision with the Indo-Australian plate, shaping the continent as we know it today. At that time, the climate was warm and humid, with lush vegetation and a rich network of rivers and lakes across the landscape. The region had distinct wet and dry seasons, which had a profound impact on the dinosaurs living there, forcing them to adapt to changing environmental conditions. One such herbivore, the Mudaburrasaurus, thrived on the abundant vegetation. This large, four-legged dinosaur had a robust body and a small head, growing up to 26 feet long and weighing around 3 tons. Fossils of Mudaburrasaurus have been discovered at multiple sites across Australia, indicating that it had a wide range and lived in isolated populations. One adaptation that helped Mudaburrasaurus survive the seasonal dryness was its large nasal cavity, which helped reduce water loss. As an herbivore, it fed on a variety of plants, including conifers, ferns, and ginkgos. However, during periods of drought, these dinosaurs had to migrate in search of food and water. Another interesting herbivore from the same ecosystem was Leaellynasaura, a small bipedal dinosaur that likely measured around 4 feet long and weighed about 44 pounds. Its small size and bipedal stance allowed it to move swiftly through dense vegetation in search of food. While Mudaburrasaurus and Leaellynasaura shared the same ecosystem, their differences in size and habits allowed them to exploit different resources and avoid competition. In the early Cretaceous period, Australia was much closer to the Arctic Circle, leading to long days and nights. In some regions, the sun wouldn't set for weeks or even months, meaning dinosaurs like Leaellynasaura had to survive in darkness during the winter months. Fossil evidence shows that Leaellynasaura had large eyes and a relatively large visual lobe, suggesting it was adapted to low-light conditions. It also had thick, downy feathers to help insulate it against the frigid nights in early Cretaceous Gondwana. Its small size also helped it conserve water during the dry season. This story provides an overarching view of where dinosaurs lived during the Cretaceous period. It's worth noting that some of the dinosaurs mentioned could have been found in other locations as well, as the continents themselves were still shifting at the end of the Cretaceous period due to tectonic activity. In summary, the Cretaceous period was marked by incredible diversity in dinosaur evolution. From the massive Argentinosaurus to the nimble Leaellynasaura, a wide variety of species thrived during this time. However, the Cretaceous also marks the end of the dinosaur reign on Earth. According to one hypothesis, a global extinction event triggered by a meteor impact wiped out the dinosaurs along with many other species at the time. This tragic event ended the dinosaur era, but also paved the way for mammals and other animal groups to rise, ultimately leading to the diverse life forms we see on Earth today. Once again, our planet reminds us that change is the only constant, and life is incredibly fragile. But we can still speculate. What if the Cretaceous Paleogene extinction hadn't occurred? What would today's world look like? Would human evolution have taken a different path? Or would we still be the apex predators on planet Earth?